Today I'm going to be giving you guys my review on my Raven MPV 7100, and this is the 1-year owner's review. I bought this of September last year and it's November this year. So after 1 year and 2 months, I have put 122 hours on it, and mostly yard work, some off-roading, going fishing and everything like that, and also powering my house when the power went out. So I'll go over the good things, the bad things, and everything in between in this review. Alright, I moved it out in the sun so we can see a little better. I'll start with the things I like less about it. The first thing is the build quality. So if you look here, if I can zoom in, I mean, this panel gap, first of all, it's made out of plastic, and second of all, it's a pretty big panel gap, and it's even worse on the other side. I mean, look at that. And there's also even a hole right here, and this is just because the plastic bent over time. With the warmth and the cooling, it just bent and got a little out of shape. So I don't like the plasticky quality that Raven used. I wish they could have used a little stronger metal. In fact, I would say 99% of the body is plastic. This is plastic all the way down here, even the floor, the hood, the front. The only really thing that's metal is the chassis and the mower deck. And the mower deck is something I really like, but I'll get to that later in the review because this is the bad stuff first. Alright, second thing I don't really like is the seat placement. So I sit here, here's the pedals, you can see me controlling them here, and this is as far back as the seat goes. So you can either have it all the way up here, which is just absurd, or the farthest back it goes is here. So if you're taller than me, and I'm only 5'8", then you're going to have a little bit of trouble getting in here. Now the steering wheel is adjustable, which is nice. I have it in the lowest position, but I don't really like the seat positioning, and it's pretty upright as well. I don't like how upright it is, but the seat is very comfortable, and I appreciate that. Next thing I don't like, and this is harping on the build quality, is these little flimsy gauges here. They don't work anymore, and I mean, I've fixed the wiring a couple of times. I've gone through the fuses. The fuel gauge now works, I would say, some of the time. Let's see here. Let's see if it works right now. It works, I would probably say, 49% of the time. So I'll turn it on. The fuel gauge, see, it doesn't go up at all, but sometimes if I hit it or whack it or something, come on. Sometimes if I jiggle the wires underneath, because it's got a full tank in there, but the fuel gauge, see, didn't turn at all. So that's not working, but these lights here work pretty well still if you watch. Parking brake works, and then the battery light works as well. But the fuel gauge is a little flimsy, and so is the light switch. The light switch sometimes doesn't turn on the LED lights. Up front, something I don't like is the hood, or the gas hood. So this is what it looks like, but the issue I don't like is, if you look at this little lever which is supposed to open the hood, see, it broke, so it doesn't really work properly. It's really hard to open and close the gas door properly. So see, if I want to close it, I have to, even if I pick it up, I have to find where it goes. And there it goes in there. Now remember, I'm just starting with the negative stuff. Overall, I really like this machine, but this is the negative stuff first. So the next thing I don't like has to do with the engine, and this is when it starts up on the cold mornings, and today it's 28 degrees, it usually smokes quite a lot, and it also, it cranks quite a bit before it turns over on cold mornings. So this is not a machine made for the colder weather, as I will demonstrate by starting it. So I'm going to even turn on the choke. Alright, so here's the choke. You pull this out, and then you have the choke on. And now I'm just going to go ahead and start it up, and I'll show you. I haven't started it up today yet, so it's going to crank a bit, even with the choke all the way turned on, and I would assume it will smoke, because usually it does. And this is, the smoking could be anything. I might check the head gasket. I might, do a seafoam treatment, but it goes away after a little while, so it's not a big deal. There's all the smoke. And if we wait, it will go away. You know, I'll definitely dig into that because the smoking, you know, it goes away. It's only on cold days too. On warm days, you know, it starts up just fine, no smoke at all. But I just don't think this is a machine that was made to be in the negative 20-degree weather we get up here in Vermont. Overall, the engine performs well. I think I've noticed a couple things. I've had to adjust the carburetor once on it, and it does leak a tiny bit of oil. So the engine overall wasn't extremely made with too much care or attention to detail. But the engine, you know, performs really great. It has a lot of power. It's a 420cc engine. So that's the next thing I didn't really like about the Raven. And the last thing that I don't really like about the Raven is there's no throttle control. So you'd kind of expect there to be one right here, you know, you just pull the throttle control. But there is none, so you just gotta live with full idle. Moving on to the things I do like, I love that there's 2 gears. I use high gear and low gear all the time. It's really helpful. And I'll give an example of me driving in high gear in a couple of minutes, and in low gear as well. Second thing I love is electric mode. So I've been you know, trying to go more environmentally friendly by looking at all of these mowers over here. You can see that they're all gas, but then here I just got this Ego, came out of the box just a couple of minutes ago, and then the Raven, which is a hybrid. So the eco-friendly part's really nice, especially if you want to be quiet while you're driving. The electric mode really helps out. So that's something I like about the Raven. I also like how the deck is fabricated steel. I do have a little rust on the edge there. I'm going to spray paint that in a couple of minutes. Just after this video I'm going to spray paint it. But you see, it's very strong fabricated steel. This is the rust right there in that area. It's also got 4 wheels all the way around. Next in the past I've only had 2 wheels, so the 4 is nice. I like how the deck is controlled with electric motors. There's no belts I have to replace, which is nice. I don't like the grass spreading quality of the Raven. It doesn't mow quite as nicely as I want it to. Like here, it doesn't, you know, it just doesn't get it done as nicely as I would like. I also love how it has the box in the back here, like a pickup truck that you can put stuff in, and it even has tie-down points here and here. I like the front suspension. I'll show you how that works right now. Probably could use a little more weight up there for the suspension to be more useful, but I like that. And then the generator is also pretty nice. Now here's the 1-year issue report. So in the first couple months I had it, I broke the generator by trying to start my snowblower off of it. You know, using the electric start on a snowblower. I overloaded it and I blew one of the wires in the back here. So underneath this box right there is all the wires that go to the electrics, and one of those wires blew. So I had to replace that, and then that was the only issue I actually had. Maintenance is, you know, I've done the oil and the air filter. I do the oil and the air filter changes every 30 hours to keep it at its optimal condition so that it will last as long as possible. Then some more maintenance. I spray painted this here because it got rusted from all my driving in the snow and the salt, and this as well I had to spray paint. That's really the only maintenance I've had to do. So it's been really cheap to maintain, and it's a pretty good machine overall. It was worth it, I would say. 122 hours and I haven't had much issues. Okay, so to give you an example of how fast high-speed mode goes, I'm going to drive down my driveway and then back again in high speed as fast as I can go. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to switch it from high gear to low gear. So if you look down here, there is a red lever. And hang on just a second, I'm going to set the camera up a little nicer. Alright, so I got it a little lower on the tripod. And if you look right down here, zoom in, here is the red lever that you switch from high gear to low gear. High gear is in the spot farther away from you, and low gear is in the spot nearer to you. So, to switch it, if I can focus it, you have to pull it nearer to you. Unfortunately, a lot of the times it doesn't actually work, so you have to rock the Raven. Hang on, let me take off the parking brake. You have to rock the Raven back and forth to actually get it into gear. So, if I start rocking it, now I can pull it into gear, and now it's in low gear. So, let's go for a ride in low gear. In low gear, I'm gonna go in electric mode. So, once you hear the click, you know it's on. If you listen closely over the chainsaw, there's a click. Now you can just reverse. Alright, there you go. And here's a little bit of driving from my point of view. So we look down to my right, and I have the keys. This is battery, engine, and then ignition. So we're going to turn it to battery. You hear the click, and then you just click the forward button. This is the electric PTO here, and cruise control. Alright. And then we have our gas and our brake, and we just press the gas, and just focus my camera, and off we go. And as you can see, if you look down here, the battery light will flash right here because it is a little low on battery. So there's the battery light come on sometimes. And we can just drive it back into the shop. There's the... Alright. So to sum up this review, the Raven is an extremely capable off-roader as well as a reasonable lawnmower and a, I would say, reasonable generator. So, for the very cheap price of $2,500, which is what I paid for this, I got a generator, an ATV, and a lawnmower. And I'm going to say very confidently that it was worth the purchase. And this is a very good machine. Overall, I'm happy with the purchase, and I would recommend, if you can find one, purchase it. Thanks for watching. Cold, give me some heat. If you guys don't believe me that it was 30 degrees out there, let me just show you, because I know we don't have any snow yet, as you can see, but if our screen works, come on, there it goes. Are you ready? 31 degrees, so it is cold, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.